Well, it's a pleasure to welcome this morning Francis, who we're going to just spend a few minutes just chatting because we wanted to interview somebody just about their experiences during lockdown, and particularly this morning as we think about this subject of fear and anxiety. Many of us have got questions and uncertainties about the future, and so it'd be great to hear from Francis about your particular experiences during lockdown and in your business, and what that might look like with the uncertainties for you. So Francis, thank you for joining with us. And just before we get into this, can I say I love the balloons behind your head. Have you had a celebration in your...
Yeah, morning, Tim. The balloons are because it was my wife's Jan's birthday last week, and the balloons were created. It's like a showpiece from Jerry, our daughter, who blew up about 50-odd balloons. So it's really nice, and we just use it as a background until they lose air and everything. Then we'll pop them.
Sure. Well, yeah. They look very impressive. We're very jealous of the balloons. Fantastic. Francis, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business? You've got a very unique business that has obviously been impacted during this coronavirus lockdown. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so Jan and myself, we run a schoolwear business in Acox Green in Birmingham. We've been doing it for about 16 and a half years or so. We serve a lot of the schools around Birmingham, like Selio, Kings Norton, Solihull, Sheldon, around different areas in Birmingham. So we supply a lot of primary schools and secondary schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
So therefore, presumably, because of both being a business and shop and all of that, but also the impact on education and all of that, this lockdown period has had a massive impact on your business.
Yeah. So when it was announced that we needed to close the shop and everything, I remember my last day was on Friday, the 20th of March. And that was just so strange. It was very eerie in that last day, Friday, and then we're going to shut. And then there's, what do we do now? It's goodbye to the shop for the time being. And what about all the schools that we had planned? Because from March till June, July, we're always planning, for open day events where we can promote ourselves and to do sales events at the schools and everything, to sell our uniform and everything. And these were all things that we had planned and communication with the schools. So they'd all gone. We knew that we couldn't do anything. Schools won't let us in or anything to do any kind of promotion. And that's so it was what happens now. Yeah. And we just go home and then we just have to wait and see what happens, during the lockdown.
Yeah, and presumably I would imagine this time of year, normally it's quite big business for you. It's a peak time because of course people are buying uniform ready for the new year. Is that changed?
Yeah, because we lost lots of business over those few months, from March till to June. We've lost a fair bit, but fortunately with the government grants and everything, we've applied for like the cash grant and other various things that we can eligible to apply for. That's helping us to see us through this difficult time because we have no income otherwise.
Sure. And presumably with the uncertainty around when schools are properly going to go back and all of that, you've still got big questions about the future.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of anxiety because, every day it's like changing with the news and everything. We're prepared as we can be for next week when we can reopen on the 15th. With the social distancing measures and everything. And we have a lot of things that we need to think about as well. How are we going to serve customers? How many do we let in? It's all trial and error and everything. And also queuing outside. And then there's a lot of things that we need to consider, and think and, adapt, hopefully.
And there's one other aspect that you've mentioned to me before, which is quite shocking really, about coronavirus, and particularly because of your heritage and therefore the impact that it's had on your business and also therefore your fear about the future. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Although I'm Chinese, I was born here in Birmingham in England. I grew up here and everything, but for somebody who doesn't know me, they think I'm probably from Hong Kong or China or something. So we've had instances before the lockdown where I've been told from colleagues that there's been a couple of customers who've been to the door they came up to the shop, but they wouldn't come in. So a colleague went out to approach them and asked them, why don't you come in? And they said, well, I don't really want to come in if the Chinese couple are in there working because of, obvious reasons. They're thinking that we might have coronavirus. And then also, I've had a situation where when I got to have this customer come up to me, she came in, from what I was told, she came into the shop and then she saw Jan first before she saw me. And then it was already, you could see the terror in her face kind of thing. So when I turned around to serve her and she asked me for a particular garment, I couldn't find it immediately. I needed to check where it was. And then by that time she was very nervous and she just said to me instead, please excuse me, I must go. I need to get something from my car, but get something. And she just left the shop. She didn't wait, but you can imagine it was because of that, the terror, how scared she was because of, the way we are, the way we look.
Yeah. Boy. And so therefore, I guess that adds another dimension of opening up again. What's that going to mean?
Yeah, I mean, sort of part of the anxiety is when we do open, there is that element of worry that will we possibly be assaulted in any way, because we've heard, from our friends and people we do know who are Chinese that have been verbally abused and attacked even, they've been hit and one thing or another, it's not reported so much now, but we do have like a little, people we do know who have had instances across the country and everything.
Yeah. Boy.
So it's worrying because we're in a small shop.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people potentially who could, could attack us.
Yeah. Sure. So I guess all of that adds to big questions for the future and uncertainty and a natural anxiety, I guess.
Yes.
About what the future holds for your business and for you personally as well. Francis, you're a Christian. Do you want to just tell us, therefore, how your faith helps with all of this and has helped during lockdown?
Yeah. I my faith is been good. I mean, I trust the Lord, immensely. He's a part of my life so much. So I've prayed, and the things I've prayed about is, because of lockdown, with this happening, I've prayed for my family, our business and everything. I've asked God to, protect my family. And I know I've been blessed because I have a home, I have the family with me, I have food, and, my family, my relatives, my friends, they're all okay. So that's good to know. I prayed about these things for God to watch over us, and he's blessed us in abundance with, keeping us through, keep carrying us through safely through this this pandemic and that. And also with the regards to the business, I prayed about it, and the schools have been very good. They've helped me during this time. We've corresponded through emails and everything. So I know we've had to adapt and everything, but it's been good. Nobody's like ignored us or anything. So, I know God has answered our prayers in both these respects. Yeah.
Brilliant. And I think, am I right in saying you had a particular scripture that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I wanted to share with you because I think it's very relevant, I think, for all of us. It's from Isaiah 41 and it's verse 10. And it's, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I think reading that and, digesting it, God is with me. I'm not alone. And I know that whatever happens, God is with me throughout. He's going to carry me through and keep me, safe and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Francis, what a great way to end. Thank you so much for your honesty and your vulnerability in it. We'll be praying later in the service for all of us who are navigating all sorts of anxieties. But I want to say thank you particularly for what you've shared. And we just pray God's blessing on you and your business and your family as you go forward. Thanks for joining with us, Francis.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you.